Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hello and welcome to our DASA Deep Dive webinar. I just want to conduct a really quick poll. I want to make sure you can all hear me and see my slides this afternoon for us, morning for many of you. So, this is a good number. I just want to see a few more folks. If you haven't voted, let me know. Okay, excellent, excellent. Great. Well, again, welcome everyone. My name is Deborah Burton, and many of you might know me as the Channel Marketing Manager at ITpreneurs, but I'm also the marketing lead for the DevOps Agile Skills Association, and it's absolutely my pleasure to welcome you to today's 30-minute DASA Deep Dive workshop on DevOps Principles number 1. A little bit about the DevOps Agile Skills Association. I believe most of you have probably heard about who we are, but I just want to share, just for those of you that are brand new, the DevOps Agile Skills Association, or DASA as we like to call her, is a real open global initiative to provide both individuals, teams, and organizations a competence model and accreditation scheme for DevOps Agile skills development. We are an independent open association. We're made up with over 50 plus forerunner organizations, and we have over 80 plus training partners working with us since we launched DASA in April of this year. Our objective is really to help go out there and build awareness and provide real thought leadership, as well as practical guidance for DevOps competence and development. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Our featured presentation today, our DASA DevOps deep dive, is on principle number 1, customer-centric action. But before I get started, I'd like to actually ask you a couple poll questions because we're very interested in actually knowing a bit about you. So I'm going to launch the first poll, and we're very interested to know what is your experience? Are you doing DevOps, or doing Scrum, or Lean? Are you doing all of the above? Or are you doing none of the above? Very interested to see what our audience is made up of today. Okay, I'm going to give you just a couple more minutes, seconds for those that haven't voted. Okay, I think I'm getting a majority. Vote quickly. Okay, very good. Close the poll. And let's take a look. So, wow, 25% of you are doing all of the above. Another 25 is doing lean. Okay, very good there. And the rest of the split is none of the above, and DevOps are doing Scrum. Okay, good information to know. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to launch one more poll. Because I also, for those of you that are doing DevOps, we really want to understand what domain are you working in? Are you on the operations side, the development side? Are you more on the business side, uh, doing quality assurance? None of the above? Okay. Okay, I see a lot of interesting information. Great. Just a second more. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to close the poll and share the results. Okay, it looks like 33% of you are on the development side. We do have some folks also from operations and on the business side. Okay, wonderful. And for those of you that aren't doing any of this, I'm assuming that you're brand new to DevOps and you're here to learn a bit more about it. So again, to all of you, thank you for sharing this information. And again, so happy to have you here. So, what I'd like to do now is introduce our guest presenter for today, Mr. Niels Loader. Hello, Niels. How are you?
Hi there, Deborah. Nice to be here.
Glad to have you. Well, for those of you that don't know Niels, he's a principal consultant at Quint Welding Redwood. And, Niels has been working in the world of IT for the better part of 25 years. He has helped so many IT organizations of all sizes and all industries improve their processes in terms of being an IT service management process consultant. He's really focused on improving the performance of IT organizations. He's been closely involved with the development of lean IT, as well as a key member of our DASA advisory board and a member of the team that's actually creating the DASA competence model and curriculum. So, Niels, welcome. So pleased to have you with us today. But before I actually turn it over to you, I have one final poll question for the team. Oh, actually, I don't. It's not there. So I'm going to move forward and turn it over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Deborah. Yeah, it's very nice to be here. Thank you for asking me to do this webinar. Yeah, let's just talk about DevOps for a moment. I mean, DevOps. Everybody's got a definition. There are loads of them out there. I'm not going to even try to give you a definition. The way we look at it at DASA is it's not a product. It's not a thing. It's not a standard. It's not a specification. And it's not a framework or a job title. These are all things that it could be, but it's part of that. We like to see DevOps as being more about experiences, ideas, and really a culture of creating high-performing IT organizations. That's really what it's all about. And the definition that you give it, please think up one yourself or choose one of your liking. But we feel that it's about, as I said, experiences, ideas, and culture. And the essence is high performance. Now, to do that, we as DASA, we got together and thought, well, so what are the principles that we're going to work along then? What kind of not framework, but what kind of principles are we going to use to basically help people guide their way through a DevOps journey that they're going to follow? Well, on this slide there are the 6 principles we've defined. They're basically customer-centric action, in which we look to have courage to act in a customer-centric way and look for innovation. We create with the end in mind. We also require the teams and people within a DevOps environment to take end-to-end responsibility. That's principle 3. Principle 4 is that we feel that the cross-functional autonomous teams are really the fundament of a DevOps organization. This is the way we're going to actually produce the value that we're looking for. This team must continuously improve and on a daily basis look at how they can make sure they're doing more and more value-adding stuff for customers. And the final principle is really automate everything you can. So these 6 things together all kind of interact, and they're related to one another, but they are distinct aspects that we need to deal with. So this webinar is going to be about the first principle, in which we discuss the customer-centric action. Now, what do we really mean by customer-centric action? This is quite an important little aspect. And in fact, Deborah, here we do have a poll. Oops, sorry, this one's going a little bit.
Nope, the poll's not there. The poll's not there.
Oh, it's not there.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. So customer-centric action is really about focusing on what our customers want and making sure that we're delivering that. And to do that, we need to have some courage and we need to focus on innovation. But who is the customer? This is always one of the key discussion points that I always have with trainees when they're participants to a Lean IT Foundation or the DevOps Fundamentals course. It's a fundamental question that we every time need to answer. Because if we don't know who we're doing our work for or who we're acting for, then we're always going to do the wrong thing somewhere along the line. Now, it's as Charles Darwin said, it's all about the survival of the fittest, and we want our organization to be one of those that is the fittest. And his definition of the fittest was all about responsiveness to change. And really, this is where DevOps and this principle is helping us in a big way. In the customer domain, we need to know and act in the best interest of our customers. That's the key that we're looking for, and it's all about making sure that change that's going on in that customer domain is actually being understood and tackled in an adequate way, or preferably an excellent way, by our DevOps organization and our DevOps teams individually. In this age, what we're talking about is things like lean startup. We're talking about minimum viable product. We're talking about making sure that we're going from an idea to coding that idea and to understanding how that code is being used in practice to improve that idea. But each time making sure that we're delivering something that has some kind of value to our customer. So we're not delivering a bit of a product that the customer can't actually do anything with. We're actually giving them something that they can use. And this is really important for how we work together in a DevOps team. It's about making sure that this customer-centric action is focused and delivers something that our customers can actually use. Now, what does that actually look like? Well, in the good old days, we would kind of start building up stuff, our code, our applications, with all kinds of parts that may not be directly useful. So we'd be spending 3-4 months building bits and pieces, and then we put it together, and then we give it to our customer. And we would be thinking, okay, well, we're giving you a beautiful product, and 3-4 months is kind of short, but probably we're looking more at 9 to 12 months, and we're giving something which may be feasible, may even have a bit of value in it. But what we're looking for now is a slightly different slice through our functionality, and things that were traditionally called nice to have are actually delighters. They're actually things that make a product easy to use, for instance. What we often saw in waterfall development was the must-haves, and we produce those, and those would be the real basic core functional requirements, and then we'd forget about the usability side of things. We'd forget about how the user interacts with that product, and we just give them a flat screen with some fields in it, and fill the fields in, and we'd hope that the fields will be in the right order. But now we're looking for a product that maybe only has 5 of the previous 25 fields on that screen, but they're in the right order, they're easy to fill, and they produce a direct result, however small it is, for that customer. Okay, so these are things that that need to be ingrained in the DevOps team. It's not about it taking a long time, being silent, going away, and coming back with some brilliant piece of work that may not match what the customer wants. We're trying to get something that really comes close to what our customers can use straight away. And in this environment, leaders have an important role. because especially where we see teams moving from being traditional kind of, let's say, siloed technical organizations to being DevOps teams, the role of management shifts markedly, and management should always be looking to encourage this customer-centric action, where previously they may well have been steered away from that kind of action because they were steered on efficiency or financial targets or that kind of internal metric. And what we need is for managers to really understand that they're there to help the teams to remain focused on what the customer actually wants. That's one party who needs to help us to make sure that we're getting that customer-centric action embedded in the organization. The other one is an artifact basically from Agile called the product owner. And the product owner is really the customer representative. And this is where we've had a lot of issues that we've seen in Agile, and we need to address these as we move forwards into a DevOps way of working. And that is that the product owner was often very difficult to find. It was a difficult role to fill, and a lot of business people shied away from it, understandably, because they weren't always sure what was required. And the result was that we as IT started filling the product owner roles, and that's not the point either, because we then start making choices on behalf of our customer, which is not what we should be doing. One of the experiences I had was that we set up a team for a DevOps team for the HR processes, so the human resources processes. And the environment we came from was one where basically the HR director had no intention of talking to IT in any way whatsoever. There was a kind of account manager who would go round to this guy and kind of cajole him into giving some kind of idea of what he wanted. And then we created this DevOps team, and what happened was a process that took about 6 months, in which we basically seduced the manager, the IT director, into being interested in this DevOps team. Why? Because the DevOps team had their visual management out there. They were showing clearly what they were going to be working on, and we invited the IT director or the HR director to come in and just have a look at what the team was doing. And he had a look, went away, and a couple of weeks later we invited him again. And initially it started with invitations, and after about 3-4 months, he basically changed his schedule round to include the weekly stand-up of this, or the weekly start of this DevOps team in his own agenda, because he could see that these were the people who were actually working for him. And without actually calling him the product owner, we turned him into a product owner. And I think this is one of the real valuable things that we can do from IT, is organize ourselves well, ensure that we are easy to do business with, and that it's clear who you need to talk to, and that these people will actually help you. And then you'll find that the role of product owner will slowly but surely become embedded in the business. Okay, so this is an important way that DevOps helps customer-centric action to actually happen and to be together with the customer. Okay. And really, when it comes to bringing together the team, the leadership, the product owner, and this customer-centric action and our minimum viable product, we can see it's all about making sure that we work through this dissonance between where we want to be and where we are now. And these are things that we need to talk about, and these 8 steps are quite useful in discussing with a product owner how we can get to delivering the priorities that the business is actually looking for. Now, how do we go about doing that? How do we go about bridging that gap? Well, there is one thing that that teams must learn, and that is dealing with feedback, creating short feedback loops. And obviously this is one that that Gene Kim has set out as his second way. The first way is obviously creating the flow, and that's really getting this DevOps team together and producing and then responsively in response to what customers actually want. And then it's building this feedback loop, both internally within the team, so understanding what's going on in the operational environment and making sure that gets fed back very quickly to the development people, but including the customer in that feedback and making sure that they tell us how they're experiencing the services that they're using. And so creating these feedback loops is a vital aspect to getting on in DevOps. Now, to make sure that we can give each other feedback and that it will be accepted and dealt with in the right way, we need trust. And this is the fundament of a high-performing team. And high-performing teams are ones where we dare to experiment, where we dare to innovate. And the key to this is that the teams, there is an absence of trust within the team. And this is, in fact, the bottom level of a model by Patrick Lencioni, which is hugely useful when you start building your DevOps teams. It's all about building trust, not shying away from conflict, making sure that people commit, making sure that they're prepared to take accountability for what they're doing, and then getting the team together to focus on the results. As he says, you know, building a cohesive team is not difficult, but it's difficult, but it's not actually complicated. It's difficult in that you need to build it step by step. And if you want teams to really start experimenting, if you want them to really truly start innovating, they need to have the courage to do so. And to do that, you need the trust. You need that ability to deal with conflicts. And really, this is all about creating an open culture. Okay, because our customers need us to innovate, need us as IT to really make sure that we experiment, and this foundation is something that brings us beyond where we were in terms of development blaming operations for not implementing changes properly, or ops blaming the development guys for giving a poor piece of code. It's about building a team that really sees the product that they're delivering, that minimum viable product that they're bringing live, as their common product, not a dev product and not an ops product. Okay, so these are really important aspects that we need to deal with when we're trying to develop a team that has customer-centric action as its core. Now, let me wrap up by saying that really that customer-centric action really is about open culture. It's about asking questions. It's about taking calculated risks, and this means having courage. It means shying away from hiding behind bureaucracy and heavy-duty processes with all kinds of checks and balances, many of which we can build into our automated systems anyway, and just asking questions and dealing with our customers in a way that helps them to see that we're actually taking those risks and innovating for them, and that they will reap the benefits of what we're doing, and that they also have a say in what risk we take and which ones we don't. Okay, so in the end, customer-centric action brings together a number of actions, a number of skills that we need, such as feedback, and help us to basically make sure that we can move together with the customer to delivering that product that they're looking for. Okay, that was what I wanted to talk about with you today.
Great. Well,
Deborah.
Niels, thank you for taking us through this whole principle. Number one, about the importance of courage within organizations and the importance of culture and the willingness to act. So, thank you so much for that very passionate presentation that you have provided to us. What I'd like to do is give folks an opportunity to send us some questions. So we do, if you would just send your questions to us in chat, we'll be able to take a look at them. But while you're doing that, what I'd like to do is just prepare you for our next upcoming DASA webinar. So next week on Tuesday, October the 18th at 4 p.m., we're going to have Rick Fahrenhorst, who is going to take the opportunity to provide us a real overview of the DASA fundamentals course and our competence model. He'll spend some time taking you through also in more detail about what that DASA fundamentals course looks like, about our skills and knowledge. So if you have the opportunity and the time, we will really welcome you to join us. So you can register. You can go to the DASA website at www.devopsagileskills.org, and you can register directly on our website. So now let's see some questions that may have come through. And okay, the first question that I do have for you, Niels, is what is a practical way to stimulate experimentation and innovation?
Yeah, that's that's quite an interesting one because you can do that on two different levels. One is kind of at an organizational level, and you see this quite a lot. Organizing things like hackathons, development days, just a kind of there are also known as FedEx days, where it's like 24 hours to just do something that's not really related to your current work, but just getting you out of that your current work, making sure that you can practice doing something completely new. That's a kind of a very clear signal from the organization that innovation is important, and that's something that we're looking for. But you're also looking to do this at a team level, and at a team level it's a little bit more difficult because a team can get very much wrapped up in just doing the day-to-day work and making sure that the things that need to be done get done, and basically spending all their time on there. So the first thing to do is make sure that you reserve time for experimentation. The second aspect is to create a list of things that you would like to experiment on, and definitely in the early phases of DevOps teams, there's a lot of experimentation with the tooling, with the automation of the IT processes, and this should be very, very strongly encouraged. In fact, there should be part of your backlog to actually experiment with these tools. And as teams really start doing this more often and build this into their general way of working, it becomes a bit more of a habit. And that's really what you're looking for, is for experimentation to become a habit.
Okay. Great. I do have another question, and I know we're out of time, so we have to do it relatively quick. I have someone asking, can you expand on the question from the beginning of the presentation about, like, who is the customer? Does the answer to this question rely on the type of project, example, front end, client application versus REST API or microservices?
Yeah, this is well, this fundamentally there are two kind of types of DevOps organization. There are those that deliver infrastructure-based services, and they will have the other type of DevOps as their customer, DevOps teams as their customer, and those are kind of what we call business system teams, and they will their customers are then are slightly more diverse. I mean, if you're working with as a with a set of business intelligence DevOps teams managing the business intelligence platform, basically the whole organization is your customer. But you can subdivide your DevOps teams into specific business entities. If you look at other types of business system teams, you will see things like app development teams, where the end customer is in fact a member of the public using your technology. So it's very important to actually, when you define your DevOps team, to very clearly connect the customer with the service they are receiving, and the product that's in there, the technology stack that is associated with that service, and the team that is involved. And sometimes it's teams plural. Okay, so and each time it's a different challenge. Sometimes you'll have multiple customers. Sometimes you'll identify somebody closer to home in your own organization, and sometimes you'll define somebody outside your organization. It will depend on the service and the situation that you're in.
Okay, thank you for that. I have another question, and this one really has to do with I think you being very heavily involved in IT service management as well. And the question is, in ITIL, the question is, do you think that customer-centric principle can be added to the ITIL framework?
Well, yes, absolutely, and I think that ITIL is, in essence, its goal is customer centric from the start. So I see DevOps and ITIL as being compatible. The key difference being that ITIL actually calls all its 26 processes. I think in a DevOps environment, you should really look at those ITIL things, those ITIL topics, more as topics rather than processes, because a DevOps team does definitely need to create an availability plan, a capacity plan. All these things must be there. But do you need to describe them as a process? Not really. Do you need to do what needs to be done in those ITIL aspects? Absolutely, and you need all of them. IT service continuity, incident management, change management, all these aspects are vital for the success of a DevOps team, so I see that DevOps and ITIL are very much compatible and reinforce each other and help each other to be successful. And the basis on which they've both been made are very much the same. It's all about delivering value to a customer. It's all about continuous improvement. It's all about making sure that customers receive what they're meant to be receiving. So for me, there's not a lot of aspects that don't match. It's just the way you deal with the material.
Great. Well, thank you. And we're out of time. And I'd like to thank everyone who really provided these really very good and interesting questions to us. And if some of you still have some questions, just drop me an email. I'd be happy to follow up for you. You can reach me at Deborah.Burton at the DASA DevOps Skills Association.org. So I'd be very happy to answer any additional questions that you might have. Niels, I want to thank you for this very inspiring webinar. I appreciate it. I will hope to see some of you again next week when we do our DASA Master Series, where we focus on the DASA competence model and the fundamentals course. So thank you all for joining us today. I truly appreciate it. Niels, thank you so much, and we wish all of you a great rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.